I'm Katie Clancy, CEO of the Cape House at William Ravis, and you are watching the Cape House Show, where we give you the tips, tools, and sense of humor you're absolutely going to need to get through the biggest transaction of your life. All right, today we're talking about a big question, and that big question is, did I get my price right? When you go to sell a house, it's not an exact science choosing this selling price, and a lot of factors go into it. But here's the best way to, first of all, get the right price out of, best chance of getting the right price out of the gate. And second, to know if you hit it or not and when it's time to change. So to get the right price from the get-go, you've got to work with a really good real estate agent who is able to do the data, do the research, look at the data, and put together a series of numbers that work for you. A good agent will be able to tell you sort of a high point, a medium point, and a low point, all within market value range for your house. At the highest end, obviously you're hoping to get the most money, but you're also going to attract the fussiest buyer. At the lowest end, you are not going to necessarily get as much as you think you would up here, but you're probably going to get a much more forgiving buyer. So depending on what your issues are, what your motives are, you can choose where those, also it's faster down here, where to price it. So let's say you've chosen your price and you and your agent, you agree on it, you're rocking and rolling. All right, now what I'm gonna tell you only applies to the, we've got the bell curve of prices and house styles. We're gonna go for the meat and potatoes, the wheelhouse of whatever market you happen to be in. So let's assume you're talking about, for around here in Cape Cod, it would be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch in a perfectly good neighborhood that doesn't need a lot of work. All right, so that is something that is in high demand around here. So if you got the price right, your agent should be so busy with calls and showings that first open house should be a blockbuster, and you should be like, seriously, another showing. Those first 2 weeks should be just super busy. That's a good sign. It's one sign that you're on the right track to the right price. However, you have to also, within a couple of weeks, now we're talking about a pretty healthy market, within a couple of weeks, also start getting offers. And if you did that, if that's what's happening in that first week or two, you're getting crazy showings and you start to get offers. They don't necessarily come together. They may or may not. But in those first 2 weeks or so, activity and offers, you nailed it. You are right on the money. Now, here's another scenario. You can get lots of activity. And I'll tell you what, if you've got one of those wheelhouse properties, you're going to have a lot of activity. However, if you don't get any offers in those first couple of weeks, you look good on paper, but something has changed, something is different, it flips in their perception of value when they get to the house. So what's the story? Is it something you can change? Is it your weird neighbors? Is it the fact that you can hear the gun range from the house? What is the deal? If it's something you can change, like staging the house or maybe working on the yard or something like that, then change it. But if it's something you can't change, location, neighbors, those kinds of things, that is what it is. You need to change the price and you need to change it in a meaningful way quickly. Do not hang on. We can smell that a mile away. And what that tells us, buyer agents, is that we've got a seller who's in denial and an agent who can't manage their client. And that's not a good combo. We go to make an offer in that scenario, they're already in conflict, and now we're adding more. Not a good way to go. And of course, I think it would be obvious if you put the house on the market and it's a beefcake of a property and you're not getting any showings in the first 2 weeks. Actually, in the first week, if you don't get any calls in the first week, you made a big mistake and you need to fix it right away. The faster you fix it, the better. There's nothing wrong with making a little mistake. Maybe something weird happened in the market and it looked good when we made the agreement, but then something changed in the market. That's okay. But make the change quickly. All right, there's that. So I will do another episode sometime soon on the houses that don't fall in that meat and potatoes category, because I think that's where the challenges are. So we're going to talk next time about houses that are just a little bit on the fringes and how to get an unusual house sold. All right, any more questions? Come see us at thecapehouseteam.com.